Welcome back, everybody. A couple of us are still kind of dragging in, but the most of us, the plurality of us, are back. Let's talk about a couple of concepts before we get working on some case studies. First set of those we're going to talk about is on page number 21. Some areas that you can determine. I mean, most of these are very straightforward, one of which I want to talk about a little bit more. But these are areas that you can use to determine on whether you, as an individual, are making good, integrity-based, ethical choices out there. Now, the very first one out there, and I don't want to read the stuff under it, but the very first one, the major category, Julio, is?
The personal reaction test.
Does your, and this is kind of interesting, does your body tell you when you have done right and when you have done wrong? You bet. You have all kinds. There are several physical reactions that you deal with. When you are approaching an ethical tightrope, do you get a little nervous in your stomach? You bet. And good. Absolutely good that occurs, because that is a helpful thing to listen to. If you get nervous, if there is a little bit of sleep deprivation, whatever that phenomenon is, those are things that you should listen to and pay attention to, simply because it is really a powerful, accurate tool. The people, it's kind of interesting. There have been a lot of studies related to this. The folks that are the most morally and ethically challenged, folks that you would say like serial killers and stuff like that, well, they're the ones that lack that physical reaction piece. They absolutely don't have anything inside of them that's saying, gosh, I should be nervous about this, I should be worried about that. They don't have that mechanism. For the rest of us that are not sociopaths and psychopaths, for the rest of us, that reaction that we get physically is a really, really important thing for us to pay attention to and to be in tune with. James, the next major category there. That simply is, how would your boss feel about your decision? Would your boss or someone in authority that you respect, what would they say about your reaction? Would they be disappointed? Would they be upset? Or would they say, hey, Bill, that was the absolute right choice? That's what the authority test is all about. Third one here is an interesting one, and the third and the fourth one really come into play with what you guys do for a living. Those of you in the public sector, and even those of you that are contractors for the public sector. These next two come into play really big. Mark, the next one there is. Now, let's play this little scenario out. I don't know if I'm the proud owner, but I own a big, white, kind of generic-looking Dodge pickup truck. Now, if I decide today or sometime later in the week or sometime next week to take lunch inside of my Dodge pickup truck and maybe drive to the park and eat my lunch, and then after lunch throw the seat of that thing back a little bit and snooze for a little bit of time, how many humans care about me doing that? Say it, David? Yeah, maybe Mrs. Tim would be slightly concerned, but other than that, number of humans that care, absolutely none. Now let's take that same white Dodge pickup truck for a mere moment, and let's put a little signage on the side of that baby. Let's just, for kicks and grins, let's put on the side of that thing, Nevada Department of Transportation. What do you think, Mike? Is that okay? Yeah, let's just put that on the side of that. Let's take the same lunch hour and eat in the truck, drive to the park, and snooze. Now the number of humans that care about that becomes what? What? What's that? Yeah, why? Yeah, is that fair? Is it the nature of the game? You bet. And in fact, I've actually seen that scenario play out with a couple of municipalities we work with, where Suddenly, it's not only a few people care, but now things like phone calls to the local TV station start occurring. There's another public sector worker being lazy. Come get the film crew and catch them. Yeah. Again, is that fair? The answer is no, that isn't. I mean, you get a lunch hour just like I get a lunch hour, just like McCabe gets a lunch hour. We all get a lunch hour. You can do whatever you want to on it. But because you are working for or working with a public sector agency, that scrutiny becomes really, really high. Bottom line, I can make an unethical decision. And truthfully, I can go back to my office and I can sweep it under the rug, and it can be done with by this afternoon. You do it, there's a chance that you become the headline of tomorrow morning's newspaper. There's a chance that if you make an unethical decision, there is a reporter sticking a microphone in your face saying, "Why did you do it?" And by the way, I know it's not part of our core material today. This is more a public relations thing. Never ever say to a reporter, never ever say no comment. Don't do that. I mean, really, if you want guilty to flash in front of your face, say no comment, okay? That is the worst thing you can ever do. But anyway, you are what, Larry?
I did not.
Thank you, Larry. Good. That maybe that is better, yeah. But do bear in mind, your decisions are subject to a public level of scrutiny, where those of us in the private sector, we don't have to face that nearly as much. And then the final litmus test to see if you are making good ethical decisions there, Mark, final one is?
Oh, I was following along.
One would hope. Apparently when I said snoozing in your NDOT truck, you go back to sleep in your NDOT truck, Mark. What's the final one? The media test, which we kind of combined and talked about there a little bit. By the way, why are you in the public sector much more open to media scrutiny than those of us in the private sector? Why is that, Steve? Well, it is, and you're right about that, in that it is. It's where the dollars come from. And very, very bluntly, boy, I tell you what, you get a public official, a building official, front page, man, that sells papers. That's good stuff. And then if you could publish his or her salary next to it, that's even better. Oh yeah, that is outstanding. Yeah, well, you kind of cringed there, Mark.
I was just thinking I use the press to get things I want out, but I don't necessarily want.
Oh boy, I tell you what, in Nevada the last couple of years, public sector salaries have been a big topic. And man, when they start talking about well, they might as well say it, firemen and how much they make and stuff like that, that sells papers and gets advertisers all excited. That's big stuff. And if you don't want to see that kind of stuff in the paper, make sure your decisions are always consistently ethical and made with a high degree of integrity. All right, another concept that I want to introduce, I believe it is on page number, there it is, 22. By the way, as I'm doing that, I am going to begin, I'm going to start it with Dan. This is the attendance sheet. Sign, if your name is not on there, please print it in one of the blank spaces. And as it serpentines around back to me, just Mike, either you or Dennis, hand it back to me if you would, please. How many of you guys have heard the concept quid pro quo? Okay. That is a Latin phrase. Anybody know what it means? Fred, you know what it means? That is one way of wording it. The pure Latin involved there, quid pro quo, means something for something. Okay? It is a very straightforward kind of thing. However, there are some interesting little wiggles associated with the quid pro quo transaction. I'm going to say that again because I was going to use that piece of video. And I don't want to see your... Yeah, okay. There's a couple of interesting little wiggles associated with the quid pro quo transaction, and those are. First of all, quid pro quo transactions are rarely anything big. okay? You know, the days of an envelope filled with $10,000 of cash, that's a rare, if almost non-existent occurrence. Most quid pro quos are small things. Another interesting dynamic about quid pro quo transactions is they are almost equally done internally as they are externally, okay? Think about that for a minute. Quid pro quo transactions come from your coworkers as much as they come from external sources as well. The other real strange dynamic, and I'm going to explain this in the form of an example in a minute. As a contractual term, quid pro quo does not have to be disclosed to the recipient. So, here's the example. Every year like clockwork, my company, the engineering firm, right, McCabe? The engineering firm buys gift baskets, packs up said gift baskets, and goes down to the, who do you work for, David? Oh, you're a private guy. Goes down to the city of Anaheim, right, Fred? Santa Ana. Well, you're neighbors. You probably don't like that. Oh, okay. Oh, he had to, okay. So I go down as the owner of the engineering firm with my holiday gift basket, can't say Christmas, holiday gift basket down to the city of Santa Ana, and I plop it on my guy Fred's desk, and I say, you know, politically correctly, I say, Happy Holidays, Fred. Now, do I want something for that gift basket? Yes, I do. Oh, absolutely I do. Do I need to tell Fred what I want? No, I don't. Do I need to even want something right away from Fred? Oh, no. This could be a banked quid pro quo. Very rarely are quid pro quos an immediate, here's this, give me that right now. Many, many times they become like a ledger card of holiday gift basket, need something in April. Now let me tell you what I need from Fred. It's not, remember when I said earlier most quid pro quos are not big things? This is not about Fred compromising, you know, and letting me sign off on something that's substandard. No, it's not a big thing. It's going to be, what I want from Fred, improved access. When I call, I want Fred to answer. When I send an email, I don't want to be blown off. I want you to, you know, send one back. Most quid pro quos are the small dynamic of improved access to the recipient. And again, there isn't a little card on the holiday basket that says, Fred, by accepting this holiday basket, you agree to Tim's terms of when he calls or wanders into the office unannounced that you're just going to see him. There's no little disclosure like that. When you accept that basket, contractual terms agreed upon, even though non-disclosed.